You can have a little tour after we're finished. Well, we have a very busy day. I'll be here till about 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the evening, and we literally have things scheduled right from the college to many meetings, and we look forward to it. It's going really well. We're doing amazingly well, and you see that because you see every once in a while they want to put my name into a poll, and I'm doing well. We do very well in terms of the polling. So if you have any questions, please ask.
You have said you should be taken seriously because you're a serious person. Explain that.
Well, I'm looking at it very seriously. Our country's in trouble. We have incompetent leadership. We have leadership that has no idea what they're doing. Politicians are all talk, no action. I'm tired of watching them. I've dealt with them all my life. I've done very well dealing with politicians, believe me. And I know they are all talk and no action. Nothing gets done, and our country goes to hell. So I'm looking at it very seriously, and if I decide to run and if I win, you will see a big change. This country will become great again. We are being taken advantage of by everybody. Every other country, every country in the world takes advantage of the United States like we're a bunch of babies. And that won't happen if I'm in charge, believe me.
What's your reaction to Senator Rand Paul's announcement yesterday?
Well, I think it's excellent that he's running. He's a good guy. He's a person I know. And I know very well. He's come to see me a couple of times, and I really do. I think he's a very good guy. I think his stance on the military is incorrect. I think we have to do the opposite. We have to go very strong and very powerful. But I'm glad he's in the race.
Let's talk about Iowa a little bit. Are you familiar at all about the commodities market right now and what's going on?
I am.
So do you think that there is a farm crisis that is imminent, given that John Deere is having all these layoffs? There are very large supplies. The corn price is very low.
Well, what people don't know about me, and especially the people of Iowa, and you can call up John Deere, I'm one of their biggest customers. I buy millions and millions of dollars worth of John Deere equipment, and I like to steer it to John Deere. They're a great company. They make a great product. But I buy many tractors. I buy millions and millions of dollars, and they say I'm one of their biggest customers. So, in fact, I'm going to be later on during the season, I'm going to be going out to the factory and John Deere, and I'm meeting with all the top guys, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I guess a lot of you are going to be out there with me. But I'm a big fan of John Deere, and look, what we need in this country, we need jobs, and we need to be able to export without being taxed to death. You know, we take people's products with no tax. We send our product over there, and they tax us to hell because we have people that don't know what they're doing. John Deere, however, is a great company, and it's going to do just fine.
Do you think we're on the verge of a farm crisis, though, for farmers?
It sounds like we're on the verge of a farm crisis, absolutely. And part of that's our federal government. They don't know what they're doing. We have leadership that's grossly incompetent. They truly have no clue. Whether it's farms, whether it's trade, they don't know what they're doing. And that's why our country, if we keep going like this, will be a big fat Detroit. That's what's happening to the country. Okay?
Given your celebrity, do you think your candidacy would attract a new demographic to politics?
Well, a lot of people say that. Chuck is on the plane. You all know Chuck, and he's a great guy, and he's very enthusiastic. And he thinks a lot of people are going to come as an example to Iowa that really aren't people that did this before. And he expects that to happen. But look, with me, it's very simple. I've built a great empire. I've built a great amount of success. And I'd like to transfer that ability that I have to this country, because we're being ripped off by the world. China is ripping us. Brazil, Japan, Mexico. Mexico's doing it not only on the border, where people are just flowing in unabated, and they're sending them. It's not only that. If you see what's going on with they're taking our car industry. The car industry is building factories now. They just stole a factory they took a factory from Tennessee, and they brought it into Mexico. $1 billion factory, many jobs. And what do they make the cars, and they sell them to this country. No tax, we get nothing out of it, except we lose jobs. So I would totally reverse that, and you know what? It wouldn't even be hard. We have people that don't know what they're doing.
Mr. Chuck, question? Yeah. You fired Iowa's favorite daughter, Shawn Johnson, from The Apprentice. How do you expect to do well in Iowa after that?
Oh, Shawn is great, and Shawn's a friend of mine, and I speak to her all the time. She's a great person, and she sort of agreed with my decision, if you want to know the truth. But she is a champion, she's a winner, and I love Shawn. She really is. Good question, too, actually. But she is a very special person, and really a special champion.
coming in a 757 jet to Iowa, how do you think that helps you relate to people in Iowa?
You know what? It's different, but it's success. It's one of the great planes that Boeing has ever built. It's always considered to be their most beautiful plane of all the planes they built. The 757 was the most beautiful, manufactured in this country. It's, you know, an amazing thing, but it's a different kind of a campaign. There's no, what am I going to do? Go out and rent the plane? You know, one thing I have in the history of presidential politics, nobody will have planes like this. That's good. And it costs me nothing because I have it. So that's an advantage. But the fact is that this is what it is, and I've become very successful, and I know how to make the country successful. And no politician would be able to do that. Because again, all talk, no action. No politician is going to be able to do that.
What are your thoughts?
And I know most of them.
The airport won't let us take pictures of the outside of your plane. Is that okay if we...
They will or they won't?
Will not.
Who won't?
TSA.
Well, it's okay with me. I mean, certainly it's okay with me. I mean, I'm sure you could take it from inside. But it's certainly, I mean, I'm sure as you're leaving, perhaps you'll be taking pictures. I can't.
Thank you. Thank you.
I certainly have no objection.
What are your thoughts about the framework with Iran?
I think it's the worst deal. Look, you know, just one little aspect of it, all right? It's a horrible deal. It's going to, every country is going to start arming now with nukes. So many things are bad about it. And they're literally, they're in Iran in the streets. They're all looking at this negotiator as being a great hero. But just a little thing, we have 3 people that are over there, prisoners. Okay, great people, good people, no problem. Not a Bergdahl, a 5-to-1 Bergdahl, one of the great trades. This is like the same kind of a deal as Bergdahl. All right, so we have 3 people. During the negotiation, maybe even before it starts, wouldn't it would be great if Obama or Kerry would say, hey, we got 3 people, let them go, fellas, let them go. Come on, get them out, let them go. We start this. Nobody even mentions it. They're over there rotting in prisons. They shouldn't be there. One of them's a pastor, a minister, and they're rotting. All you have to do is say, fellas, let's go before we start. Do us all a favor. You look good, we look good. Let them go. They'll do it. If you ask them in the right way, they would do it. We don't even ask. Now, that's not the deal, and the big deal is the nukes. But there's a little aspect that you could get for nothing. It's a horrible deal. It's going to lead to horrible things. It's terrible for Israel. But it's a horrible deal, and hopefully it won't happen.
Mr. Trump, what would your top 3 priorities be
Can you hear us okay over there?
if you were elected president?
Well, I have a lot. I mean, and by the way, every month you have more and more. But certainly one of them would be, and I mean a serious one, is we have to stop this whole nuclear proliferation, which is now going to be even greater. I would end Obamacare and replace it with something terrific for far less money for the country and for the people. Absolutely. I would end it, and it would be absolutely a better plan that would be much less expensive. Obamacare is a disaster. And don't forget, on Obamacare, it doesn't really kick in until 16. A lot of people don't realize that. Obama said, I'm going to be out playing golf when this happens. It doesn't kick in. The bad parts of the plan, of which there are many, don't kick in until 16. And the other thing, build up the military. We have to build the military, because never before have we been in this kind of danger because of what's happened with weaponry. I mean, the weaponry today is so lethal that we have to really make sure we protect ourselves. So build up the military, absolutely. As a sub-note to the last, by the way, it also take care of the vets, because the vets are being treated horribly by this country.
Mr. Trump, you're seen as an unconventional candidate.
Yeah, I will be very unconventional, I agree.
When you get the nomination, will you choose a mainstream politician, or will you look for someone more like yourself from outside Washington?
Sort of like him, he says, when I get the nomination. That's very interesting. In terms of a running mate, well, you know, we have a lot of good running mates, but you need a leader. You have to have somebody that leads. Obama could have done a lot of the things if he was willing to get people in a room, even when he played golf. If he'd play golf with Boehner and a couple of the other guys instead of his friends that don't mean anything, they mean nothing to the country, you'd see things happen. But you have to be able to lead. So whoever it is the first guy that's so important. But there are a lot of good people that could be a running mate, absolutely.
Mr. Trump,
Yes.
what would you do with your business interests should you get the nomination?
Well, you know, I looked at running last time, and Mitt Romney really let us down because he choked in the end. He ran a horrible last month. And in all fairness to Obama, he was on Jay Leno, he was on David Letterman, he was on all these shows, and I don't know what happened to Romney. So he just, I don't know, something very bad happened to him, but he remained silent and he lost. And fortunately, we won't have to go through that again. Very important. But my children, and I looked at it very carefully, and we hoped Romney would win, and he didn't. He let us down. The fact is, I have children now that are grown up, Ivanka, Don, Eric. I have great executives. I'm building all over the world. Just bought Turnberry in Scotland, one of the great resorts of the world, Doral in Miami. But I have children and executives that can handle it. Whereas in all fairness, 4 years ago, I was starting big projects all over, like Doral, like others. And I felt I should be there on top of it. It was a big factor in my decision. But you know, I love my business. I love what I'm doing. I have some of the great jobs anywhere in the world. And I built one of the great empires, and it's been over a fairly short period of time. But I love the country more, and that's why I'm doing it. A lot of people say, why would he look at the plane, look at this, look at that? The fact is, people say, why would he do it? Why would he even want to do it? I want to do it because I love this country. Very simple. And we're not going to have a country if we keep going the way we're going. And as I said before, our country is going to turn into Detroit. That's what our country is going to be. We have 18 trillion in debt. When we reach 24 trillion, which will not be long, won't be long, that's the point of no return. We're in big trouble. And I think people understand that. And I'm the one that can solve it. Politicians are never going to solve it. They'll talk about it, but they'll never solve the problems of this country.
Mr. Trump, you're known as being a savvy businessman, knowing the numbers type guy. Something like 75% of Republicans said they can't see themselves voting for you.
Yeah.
How would it be prudent for you to even be mulling over President?
Well, you might be right, but you know, most of them said that because they don't think I'm running. I mean, I came in third or fourth in a poll the other day, yesterday, 2 days ago, and everybody was shocked. They put me in a poll, because usually they don't put me in because they think I'm not running. They put me into this poll, and I beat most of the candidates, and everybody was shocked because they don't think I'm running. So part of the reason is, you know, you have that, and despite that, I do well in polls, and nobody thinks I'm running. We may very well surprise a lot of people.
For those Iowans who do like your ideas, what do you say to them if they're worried they're just going to get their heart broken again?
Well, you watch. I mean, you have to watch. I mean, the only way I'll solve that problem, I can solve it in 2 minutes. All I have to do is announce that I'm running.
When's that?
Well, you watch. You watch. I think people are going to be very interested. I'd say June, July.
What would a debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump be like?
I think it would be exciting. Well, look, I know her very well. I come from New York. I know her very well. A lot of weaknesses, and I think it would be very exciting. Yeah, did you have a question? Any questions? I think there were some questions in the back. Go ahead.
Mr. Trump, one more question.
Yeah. Whatever you want. Go ahead.
You recently opened a new tennis center in Virginia. Do you have plans to invest any land or property here in Iowa?
I would, and if the economy keeps going down, you're going to make some good deals on Iowa farmland. You look at what's going on with the prices. It's incredible what's going on. I mean, I would certainly invest in, you know, yesterday we had Serena Williams opening up the tennis center, and it was fantastic. She was amazing. It's a $10 million tennis center that's absolutely amazing. And Serena opened it up. It's a big club that I own right along on the Potomac River in Washington, Virginia area. So it was great. But I would certainly do that. I like to make good deals. The only good thing about this economy is, frankly, I mean, because the real unemployment rate is not 5.6 or 5.3 and all the nonsense. That's a nonsense number. It's probably 18 to 21% if you add it up. People that gave up looking for jobs, they give up looking for jobs. And you know, they did a study recently, and the study said anywhere from 18 to 21%. And I've been saying that for a long time before I saw the study. But if you're looking for a job and you give up, they consider you employed. The economy is terrible. And the recovery, you know, we had zero growth in the last few months, zero. In the meantime, China's booming, Japan is booming, Mexico's booming, and we're dying, and they're robbing us because they're taking all our jobs and all our money because we're led by stupid people. You had a question in the back, one question. Do you have a question? Anybody? Okay, no question? We'll see each other a long time. We have plenty of time. Right.
Quick question,
Yeah.
Mr. Trump. Chuck Lodner, one of your advisors, or not,
Right.
has he explained to you how much time Rick Santoro fit in this state to win it last time? And are you willing to put that much time into winning Iowa
Well,
caucus?
Rick is a nice guy, and he's come up to my office twice, and he brought his daughter, and she's lovely. He's got a great family. But Rick and I are very different people. And I don't think people would expect that of me. Look, I'm doing something that'll be very interesting, assuming I do it, and I think people may be very well surprised, okay? And when you talk about the polls, people are amazed that for me to do this well when nobody thinks I'm running is pretty amazing. So we may surprise people. With Rick Santorum, that's his full-time job. He runs for office, and so do all these other guys. That's what they do. They run for office. That's all they do is run. They win, they lose, they keep running. That's all they do. They make promises, they never keep them. Rick's a nice guy, but I don't think anybody expects me to run that kind of a campaign because it's a different person. And I do have, until such time as I make the decision, I'm running a very big business, a very powerful business. And by the way, speaking of my business, I deal with leaders all over the world. I deal with the smartest people in China. And by the way, I made a great deal in China. You'll see that if and when I put in my financials, which are phenomenal. You saw that 3 years ago when I put my financials. I may be the only person who didn't run to ever file financial statements. I did that. Now they're much better. And they were phenomenal, but now they're even better. Because I've done well. But I've made a lot of money dealing with other countries. And that's what this country has to do. Otherwise, we're not going to have a country. But we're different people. Rick's a very good guy, by the way, but we're different people. And it'll certainly be a different guy. I mean, I have certain advantages. I have a plane like this. He didn't. That's a big advantage. But he has advantages also. Plenty of time.
So you won't be riding around in Chuck's truck?
No, I'll be riding around. I'll be here a lot. I mean, today I'm leaving at like 10 o'clock in the evening. I mean, I left New York at 6 in the morning. I'll be arriving in New York at 12 in the evening. It's a fairly full day. I mean, usually I work harder than that. That's actually an okay, not a great day for me. That's sort of average. But I did leave New York at 6. And here I am. And I'll be arriving back in New York City at 12:30 in the evening. And literally, we have many, many meetings, and I look forward to them. I love the people of Iowa. The people of Iowa are hardworking people that love this country. And they know our country is going to hell. They know it. Okay, so why don't we go? Are you